Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
And I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It's always good to be in your presence.
Likewise.
Yes, got a great show today.
We do have a great show, unprecedented to some degree.
Yes, it is. To some degree, it's unprecedented. We have people who are doing work in our city stopping in to give us some information about what's going on.
Yeah, representation on both sides of the table.
On both sides of the table, accountability on both sides of the table.
Yeah, but first we want to thank our sponsors, Lee, Castle, and Crowley.
And we want to thank the Stewart Mortuary for helping us be on the air. And not only that, but there's Fervent Care Christian Academy, a great school out there on the east side.
Christian, clean, caring, and convenient. Choose Christian schools and child care. They are closer to Christ.
Yeah.
So it'll be a great show today. And we also want to encourage you to go to YouTube and become a subscriber. You can watch this show when it's over, or others that you might have missed. You know, Dr. Moore, there's so much information that we have disseminated from this show over the past couple of years.
Yeah, and everywhere I go now, people are saying that they watch Real People, Real Voices, and I think it's becoming a catalyst in our community, and we ought to be grateful for that. I want to thank our sponsors on a continuous basis for helping us be here.
Absolutely. We want to thank all of those of you who watch every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. and on Friday nights at 8:30. Continue to tune in. I'm James Jackson, and this is Dr. Moore.
Yes, my friend. I'm happy to be here. And check us out on Facebook as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, check us out on Facebook. And whatever you've missed in the past, you can always go back and pull those shows forward.
Yeah.
Play it forward. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
And we're joined today by Lakeisha Jackson, Councilwoman Lakeisha Jackson, District 14, also chairman of the Ethics Committee.
Thank you, Pastor Jackson, for having me, and Pastor Moore. Thank you guys for having me.
Happy to have you.
And also Minority Leader, Councilman Michael McQuillan, District 4. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, pastors.
Thank you for being with us.
And we wanted to invite folks from our council, 25 folk who are on our city's council from a biblical perspective.
Right.
There's safety in the multitude of counselors. And there's a lot of things, a lot of decisions you all make that affect the quality of life for folks who are watching on this evening. And so we'll start with you, Councilwoman Jackson, your vision. What are you working on that will help to impact and improve the quality of life?
Thank you. My vision for the city and my district specifically is to have more equity across the board, especially with economic development. We need more economic development in District 14 and other urban areas across town. Also addressing the gun violence issue, not banning guns, addressing the gun violence issue, which we know is a systemic issue and problem, and what that looks like. In addition to creating job opportunities for our youth, especially the demographic population, 16 to 24, we know data states that if we could get these youth and get them employed for a minimum period of time, then that we can reduce crime in our communities and cities. So those are some of my initiatives that I am working on, and working with the community and the faith base and stakeholders to come together in engagement process so that we could be in collaboration, and it's just not the city telling the community or neighborhood what to do, it's upward. The community and the neighborhood telling the city and government and stakeholders and corporations what they need and what they want, because that's who we're here. We're here because of our constituents, taxpayers, and those voters who put us in office. So we have to be mindful of that and make sure we're accountable in doing what we need. And infrastructure is huge as well. So I will address infrastructure throughout the city, specifically potholes, on this segment as well. Thank you.
All right, and certainly at District 14, and that's the district I pastor in, a lot of challenges where urban gun violence, as you mentioned, a lot of poverty. In fact, my church sits in a 19% poverty tract, at least it was a few years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's still there. Some of the plans that you have through the programs that you have been out in front of to help turn that. It's going to take some time. John Marshall's closing. We've had several other businesses leave District 14. How can we attract businesses back into that area?
We can attract businesses back into District 14, into the area by, one, reducing the crime, working on initiatives with the city and IMPD and the community as a whole to reduce crime. Two, infrastructure redevelopment. There are some areas such as Oak Tree Apartments that the city is trying to gain ownership of, and the judge recently ordered in February for that property at the corner of 42nd Post Road to be demoed. We have to clean up the Blyton area. Developers do not want to come into an area that's high crime ridden or blighted because they can't get a good return on their investment. And we have to create job opportunities. There are some job opportunities, but creating that, bridging that access for our residents is important. Addressing the poverty issues. These are systemic issues. We have to be able to get the city and the government to reinvest or invest resources into the area to make it equitable for developers to come in and redevelop or develop the area.
Question. It's very obvious that our downtown area is becoming phenomenal.
That's correct.
You all are very instrumental in stretching the downtown area by what you do as it relates to economic development. Why is it so difficult to look at economic development downtown 5 to 8 miles out radius, and then you have the blighted areas that have such a difficult time getting some attention to? What is that issue? What is the problem with that? And when people mention that, it becomes an issue.
That is correct. When people mention it, it becomes an issue. But from my perspective, this is Councilor Jackson, Lakeisha speaking herself, what I see the issue is partly lack of engagement and partly lack of stakeholders who are invested in these blighted areas or in these underserved areas to come forward and say, I'm ready to do my part to participate and help the city. And then the city determining what are we going to do, because when you have, it's just like that saying, the old adage saying, you are your weakest link. You're only as good as your weakest link. Mm-hmm. So we have a great, awesome central downtown area. Mm-hmm. But when you go out and spur out, you continue to have the blight and the underserved population. So we have to work together collectively to fix that.
Okay. You said something about, and Councilman McQuillan, you can jump in on this as well, that you want the communities to help. The communities have nothing to bring forward to the table to help. So what do you mean by that? If people are listening, they need to know what, so they can start helping. If
Great. So community can help. We can push. We've been doing some initiatives out on District 14 on Far East Side, and that old saying as well, the squeaky oil gets squeaky wheel gets the most gets oil. That's true. If you're waiting on somebody to say, hey, because they know it's an issue. You just said it. We know it's an issue. Right. The mayor knows it's an issue, but I guess because they don't think that we're screaming, demanding, holding accountability, that nothing has to be done. Okay. And that point has to change. And then there are some stakeholders that have the capital, that have the voice, that has the power to help us demand change and accountability.
And Councilman McQuillan, I want to get you in here before we go to break. With regard to what Dr. Moore is talking about, how can the rest of the councilors, of course, Lakeisha is, Councilor Jackson is District 14, you're District 4, how can the other councilors help to achieve those goals?
Sure. Well, every one of the 25 districts are radically different. The district which I'm lucky to represent now starts at the county line at 96th Street, comes down to about 46th and Post. Before they redrew the maps, I actually did have 42nd Post right in my district, so I know exactly the struggles that Councilor Jackson is referring to. And I couldn't agree with her more. We've done a great job in Indianapolis rehabbing some of the close-knit areas near the downtown circle and out of ways, but we need to not forget the areas that are outside that bubble. And there have been some good efforts to revitalize some complexes, some buildings, but it's not enough. We need more. And I appreciate Councilor Jackson's efforts in that, and I'm trying to be as helpful as well as possible.
Thank you.
I think that's phenomenal to be able to say that if we can get the community to be engaged as it relates to their voices, things might change in those areas.
So, things can change.
Yeah, so basically you're telling us today that we need the community to start talking more about it, engaging more about it, to see if this can take place.
And demanding more.
And demanding more.
Yeah.
So.
Most definitely.
All right, well, we got to take a quick break. But when we come back, I want to hear about the responsibilities of the minority leader and what that's all about, and then talk about your vision for District 4 Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. And we want to get right into our guest today. We're joined by Councilor Lakeisha Jackson, District 14, and Minority Leader, and Councilor McQuillan, District 4. And when we went to break, Councilor McQuillan, we were talking about the fact that you're the Minority Leader of the council and also District 4 and your vision. So if you could kind of unpack that for us.
Sure. Well, of course, we have the majority party. The Democratic Party has a majority on the council. I'm the Republican leader, basically. We have 11 members, so it's fairly closely matched, 14 to 11. And the good thing about being on the council and serving, and I think Councilor Jackson would agree, is that the majority of what we do is not scary, is not exciting. It's just nuts and bolts, getting things done for the people, getting streets paved, the police paid. And we really work together in a pretty good bipartisan fashion on most of what we do. Not that that works on everything, because there are those issues that pop up. But serving as the minority leader just gives me an opportunity to work with my caucus, to work across the aisle and make sure we're in tune on issues. Last night, for example, we had the final vote on a bonding issue for the new Criminal Justice Center that went through largely bipartisan. So many issues like that we work together on very well.
You know, the ideology of bipartisanship, it's a great wind going through the country right now. Some people are not really with the bipartisanship, but as I see the country moving, I think in order to get things done, that might be some of the ways to get it done. What do you think about that?
I would agree locally for sure. I mean, if you watch television ads for federal candidates, you would think they're as far apart as could possibly be. Mm-hmm. If you look at your city county councilors, I think you find 25 people who really have the hearts and desires of their constituents at heart and are working together to try to get things done, not grandstanding, and working together as much as possible. And I think that's been one of the earmarks of the city county council, and I like that.
I agree.
Phenomenal.
So the difficulties that you all are having with the potholes, on the one hand, people think that the city's not doing anything. On the other hand, the weather has been up and down, back and forth. So give us an update. I'm sure there are a lot of folks who are watching who are wondering, when is this going to end?
Sure. Well, there was a little bit of patchwork done a few weeks ago, and then Mother Nature decided to give us another dose of horrible weather and snow. So unfortunately, a lot of that work was undone, and potholes popped once again. Now that we're finally, hopefully, past all of that, I think there's going to be a little more of the strip patching, where they actually take an entire section of the road and do something a little more permanent, rather than just pulling stuff into holes and hoping it stays. So I drive through potholes every day, just like everybody else, and I'm on my app on my computer reporting them every day too, as I would definitely ask anybody out there who has a phone can do that. And together we'll get it fixed eventually.
Mayor Hossett recently asked us, the council, to reappropriate $14 million from the rainy day fund to help with this project, infrastructure for fixing the potholes. And so the council did approve that. The real challenge is we really need about $730 million. So we as a city, and working with the mayor's administration and the state, really have to come up with a solid plan for the future to figure out how we can really reinvest back into our infrastructure and get at least, and that'll put us at a fair quality, somewhere between fair and good. It still won't be excellent, but it'll be better than what we have right now.
Are you going to be able to go back to the rainy day fund?
No, there's not $730 million in the rainy day fund. That's something
Is anything in there now?
I don't know what's left in there, but we did take $14 million out of there. We definitely need to work with the state and get more appropriations for infrastructure dollars.
Okay, I was just wondering because, you know, Mother Nature moved on us again.
Yeah.
And everything that was done prior is up again.
Yeah.
So.
We're still prepared for a light drizzle, but if it's a heavy rain, the rainy day fund is in trouble.
And so they're running a blitz cycle where they're going through either with the potholes or the strip patching, as Councilor McQuillan said. And in addition to that, we have 3 contractors working, many of them working 14 hours, DPW, as well as some of our union contractors will be working to help get this done. And if you see a pothole, please call the Mayor's Action Hotline, 317-327-4622 to get that reported.
May I throw in one thing? Because you
Absolutely.
mentioned community efforts and community picking up and helping out. This is a good example of that. Just recently, it was reported in the Indianapolis Star that a community group is working in tangent with the city on the weekends, filling potholes. They're not just hot dogging it on their own. There's coordination there. But that's a great example of some people in the community who are rolling up the sleeves and pitching in, and we like to see that for sure.
Yeah, it's akin to the young people getting out and cleaning up the roadways
Exactly.
in the neighborhood. So that community involvement is really, really good.
Yeah.
Before we run out of time, Councilor McQuillan, when you talk about your vision for where you see the council going over the next 2 or 3 years, and then Councilor Jackson, you have a program that's coming up, an event that's coming up we want you to talk about. So talk to us about what you'd like to see in the next couple of years.
Specific to District 4, it's no different than Councilor 14 or Councilor District 14. Quality of life issues. We need people to feel safe in their homes, in their neighborhoods. We want people to move into Marion County, not moving out. Big picture products like the possibility of Amazon, for example, coming to Marion County. That would be huge, bringing in 50,000 great paying jobs. It would just be a phenomenal change for Indianapolis. So I think the majority of the councilors are working together to support the administration and do whatever we can to make sure we get big picture things like that done. And that would not just benefit Districts 4 and 14, but the entire city.
Yeah, for Marion County, period.
Definitely.
And that's the kind of politics, if I might say, and bipartisanship working together that we need in the city of Indianapolis.
Politics can be a good word.
Yeah, it can be.
In the right opportunity.
It depends on who you allow to use it.
Yeah, how to use it.
Yeah.
Councilor Jackson, you got an event coming up?
I do. Thank you, Pastor Jackson. You hosted this event last year. It is Indy MBK, My Brother's Keeper, Youth Job and Hiring and Resource Fair. Both of you did. Thank you so much. I did one on the east side, which is at your church, Fervent Prayer, and Pastor Wayne Moore, one of your
On the west side.
at Olivet Missionary Baptist Church. And so what it is a job fair for youth, hiring, and it's a hiring fair. There will be employers there who are either hiring on the spot, or who have job openings that you can apply, and we will have workers there to help you apply for these jobs. Youth ages 16 to 24. The first event is Thursday, April 26th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Turning Point Church, and that's at 46 and Post Road. If you want more information to register, you can go to pathwayindy.org, or you can call 317-890-9817. I am one of the sponsors of the event, but the event is hosted by Pathway Resource Center, and our sponsors are Indianapolis Community Crime Prevention Grant, Indiana Black Expo, Flaherty and Collins Properties, Mayor Joe Hogshead's Project Indian Employee Indy. So it's going to be an awesome opportunity for youth to not just get a job for the summer, but hopefully a better job if you're a little older youth, or a sustainable job going forward. Thank you.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
And we want to make sure that you all get in on that. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
This is the time to do it. You can also go to projectindy.net. Again, that's projectindy.net, and start getting yourself ready to be employed for the summer. It's so important that you do that. If you wait too late, it might be too late. Also, nextleveljobs.org for the state of Indiana. Nextleveljobs.org is a wonderful program
It
that
is.
the state of Indiana
It is.
put together.
Great program.
So jobs, 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 jobs. That's what Representative Crawford used to always say.
I like that.
He would say, jobs. What's the solution?
Jobs.
Let me say this though, Pastor Jackson. I want to commend both of you for coming on to this show and giving information to the community, because you become a better public servant when you talk with the people and let them know what's going on. And some things are just not good to talk about, but you need to talk about.
Yes, sir.
And so we're grateful that you came on to share with the community about the pothole situation, your vision for what you see for the council, and what you would like to see Indianapolis do for its constituents. And we really appreciate that.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
Can I give one bit of information for folks? If you want to be engaged, reach out to your local counselor. Whoever your council find out, you can call the council office. The number's 317-327-46.
4545.
4242.
4242.
317-327-4242. And give them your address or 2 corner streets. They'll tell your city county councilor. That way you can always be updated as to what's going on. And then for District 14, for those who want to be involved on the east side, Warren Township, Lawrence Townships, look for a Facebook page specifically for Council District Coalition 14. We will have a Facebook page of put up pretty soon in the next 30 days to tell you how to get engaged and involved in District 14 and things around the city.
And that's good. Now, she's come on this show and just took over the whole show, Jack.
I'm sorry.
But that's okay.
I was going to say, let that be the last word.
That's the
that's
last word. That's
Stay with us. We got the rundown. We'll be back after this.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
Co-host Pastor Wayne Moore.
And I'm your producer, Faith McKinney.
I want to thank our sponsors, Lee Castle and Crawley.
Stuart Mortuary, who's been working in our community for many years to help our families with bereavement, and also Fervent Care Christian Academy.
Yeah, Christian, clean, convenient.
Yes, we need that. We need great schools for great young people.
Yeah, and we're joined in the rundown by Faith McKinney.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. We always enjoy having you on the show with us. Exciting segment there with some of our local government. Mm-hmm. And you, along with us, are part of their constituency in one way or another.
Absolutely.
Your perspective as to how the city's doing.
Well, you know, it's the city is a vibrant, living organism, and it's always changing. And I think we're going through some growing pains, and you know, with the murder rate and violence in the city. But I think with people like Lakeisha Jackson and Mike McMillan, I think they care. I believe they really do, and so we have to, you know, support them in what they do as they support us.
Yeah, I think the counselor is the closest one to the community. And when you don't have counselors that are not in the community, who are in areas of grandstanding and not putting themselves in a place of servanthood, we are in trouble.
Yeah.
But I like what Mr. McQuillan said, and that was that the counselor is the closest person to the community. And our counselors need to be in the community, making sure they hear what they need to hear to make sure they get the right type of engagement to change communities.
Absolutely. We've had that today, and we want to thank you for being part of our show today. And on Sundays at 5:30, Friday nights at 9:30, let that be the last thing you do before you go to sleep.
Right.
We've enjoyed having you today. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe there, and like us on Facebook. We'll see you next time.